Very good evening to you all. Welcome to the Premier League predictions here on the Commentary Hub and our partner channels as well, Storm FM, JB Sports, Commentary Hub 2, J-DAC Football, also on Twitter and also on Twitch as well. The Periscope is now ended, so we'll just go live on the Twitch via Twitter instead, rather than via Periscope, which we did go on. Now, but before I get my guest on this week, I'll have a look at how myself and Braddock's got on last time out. They're not the actual scores. Just bear with me 1 second because I've actually got the actual results. Those are not the actual scores on the doors. So just give me a second. I forgot to save the actual results from last week. So I'll just load those up. Those were the predictions you just saw there. And what I can tell you is, guys, if I just look, as you can see on the screen right just there, is I beat Brad I got 6 points. Brad got 5, as you can see on the screen just there. So I got a point for the Arsenal game, Chelsea game, Man City game, Brentford game, West Ham game, and Man United game. Brad got his points for Chelsea, Man City, Leicester, West Ham, and Liverpool games. So, without further ado, let's say a very good evening to my guest. You've seen him before here on the predictions. He's back for round 2. I beat him by 1 point earlier in the season. He's up for the fight this time around. Let's say a very good evening to that man. It's Jamie. How you doing, my friend? You okay?
Try not to laugh while you were doing that first bit there. I'm fine, thanks, mate. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this again tonight. Enjoyed myself last time, but I want to improve on my petty score of 3. So hoping to do a little bit better tonight.
Yes, and we'll be getting to the predictions in a second, and then after we've done the predictions, guys, what we'll do, myself and JB will have a discussion. Not that he wants to, mind, I don't think.
I don't want it too long a discussion.
How Burnley have been performing this season, and I'm going to ask him a question which I don't think he wants to think about at this moment in time, and I think he may know where I'm coming from with that statement there, which will get his thoughts on that certain question in a few moments. But JB, to start us off this week, it's the match between Leicester and Arsenal at Anfield at Leicester against Arsenal at the King Power, should I say, this weekend. Leicester doing fairly well recently, also did well in the Cup again in midweek as well against Brighton. Arsenal did well in the Cup against Leeds, which is a bit hard for me to say, but JB, Leicester against Arsenal, I just see this one going, mate, and who do you reckon's going to come out on top?
That's a tricky one, you know. Both teams have come off the back of some good results. They get the cup ties. I mean, the league is what we're concentrating on, really. I mean, Arsenal were pretty decent winners on Friday night against Aston Villa. Really good. Away from home, they've not been so good. I must admit. Leicester are starting to come into a bit of form. They've had a couple of really good results, so they're starting to climb a little bit. They had a tough match against Brentford, and I have to say Brentford gave them one hell of a game. I'm going to go a 2-2 draw. I can't separate these two. They're in good form. Both of them are in good form. very hard to pick a winner. Both teams can score goals as well, so I'm going to go 2-all. I'm going to sit on the fence for this one.
Well, JB, I'm going for a win to one of the sides here, JB, and our friend Mike Ornament will not be best pleased with me. I'm going for a Leicester win. I think Leicester can win this one. I think the pace of Vardy is a bit slow now. Pace of Patson Daka as well. If he comes off of the bench, can really hurt Arsenal. Yeah. So I'm going for a 3-1 win for the Foxes at the King Power against Arsenal. And just want to point out, on Wednesday was the anniversary of the helicopter crash which killed the Leicester runner. So from everyone of the commentary hub and our partner stations, rest in peace to him and thoughts go out to his family and everyone.
Yeah, well, we're on the subject. I remember doing the commentary for JB Sports at the time when I was just doing the games on my own, and I remember coming off the microphone about half an hour before, and done a great game. It was a great game. People, it's not remembered for the game, obviously, but it was a terrific second half where West Ham really gave it their all, as well as Leicester. And I come off thinking that was one of the best commentaries of the season. Then you ring me up some 20 minutes later and tell me that, and I was like in complete shock. So, so any happy thoughts I had about the commentary I'd just done had dissolved. So, I've got memory. I've got pretty vivid memories of that night. It'd be nice for them to mark the occasion with a win for them, but I still think 2-2 would be a thing for me. But I just thought I'd better share my memories of that night, and I remember you ringing me up, I think, that night and telling me all about it, and I went on. I had to do Berlin the next day, and I did I think one of the most somber commentaries I've ever done in 8 years. So it was a sad day. It was a sad day for Leicester. If they can mark it with a win, then brilliant. I'll be happy to be wrong, but just think that I've got to sit on the fence for this one.
Yes, next up, JB, it's your team, Burnley. They're taking on what's looking to be a really, really, really good Brentford side this season, and Brentford causing a few problems for some of the bigger teams. Got a draw, beat Arsenal opening weekend, got a draw against Liverpool as well. Another away from home here at Turf Moor. Burnley still yet to win in the league.
Yes,
JB.
We know.
How do you see this one going, JB? Do you reckon this will be the time where you can turn around and say, we finally got a win in the Premier League now? We finally got a win. We finally won a game. Or do you reckon it's still going to be continuing where you're going to get a win here, mate?
Well, we have to win. I think it's as simple as that. I think, we've had 9 games now. And it's, the performances, actually. I was talking to a few Burnley fans the other week, and the performances have been there, but the results haven't. If you see what I mean, we played well in some of the games. Like Brighton on the opening day with Boston for about 60 odd minutes, and we ended up losing. Things like that. And it's like you start thinking to yourself, is it going to be our season? I think, the positive point. I'll just mention this. The point, we will touch on it a bit more later. But if Maxwell Cornet starts, I'm not sure if Brentford could actually deal with him. And the fact that they've lost their goalkeeper now for 5 months might give us a bit of a boost going into this game, and that's sad for Brentford, but, as I say, it could be a bit of a boost for us. We didn't play well last night in the Cup against Spurs, but the referee was a bit rubbish, to be quite honest, because he should have sent off Skip, but, that's as may be. But I think we've got to get a victory, and I would like us to keep a clean sheet as well. So I'm going to go 2-0 Burnley. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm not going to say 4-5-6-0 because it's not going to happen, not with Burnley. So I'm going to go for a nice round 2-0 victory for Burnley. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Sorry, JB. I don't think you're going to get a victory here this week.
Oh, here we go.
I think Brentford, whether they're playing at home or away, are playing some really good football. Away from home, they go over the week. They go lay winner against West Ham, the London Stadium. So they have beaten a team in claret and blue already this season, away from home. I think they're going to beat another team in claret and blue away from home this weekend, my friend. I'm going for Burnley 1, Brentford 2.
Well, it's close then. We score then.
I think,
That's a miracle. Usually it's
yeah,
0 at the end of our prediction.
I think you'll score, and I think you'll probably score first. But then Brentford will come back, as you saw. They went 1-0 down against Leicester. They came back, and then Leicester got a late goal. But I think away from home, the key fight till the end, and I think Brentford will get a late goal to win it in this one, JB. But I think Brentford will score. Burnley will score first. Brentford will equalise on the hour mark, and then they'll get a late winner in around about the 85th, 86th minute. Next up is Liverpool, heading to this one on the back of, in the league, a 5-0 triumph against Manchester United. Up against the Brighton side, who are doing fairly well this season and causing quite a few problems to teams up near the top. Looking at this, do you think that Liverpool will get the win, JB, or do you reckon we could see a shock on the cards here and Brighton pick up a win? How do you see this one going, JB?
I can't see anything other than a Liverpool victory. That's no disrespect to Brighton. They've had a great start to the season, and no one can fault them for that. They came up against a very good Manchester City side last week and were beaten accordingly. Although Brighton did show in that game that they could compete with the likes of Manchester City and all that on their own patch. Going to Anfield is a totally different kettle of fish. Now, Liverpool, of course, have had 2 good wins in the week, as you said, 5-0 against Manchester United, and we won't touch on Manchester United fully like we did before, because I think we shouldn't give Liverpool enough praise. I think Mo Salah's in the form of his life. Can the Brighton defence hold him? I'm not sure they can. But Brighton will cause 1 or 2 problems. They, as I said, they've had a good start, and as you said, they've caused teams a lot of problems. But I think Liverpool should have a bit too much for them. I'm going to say 3-1 Liverpool. 3-1 to Liverpool, I think.
I'm going for a 3-0 Liverpool here, JB. I think Liverpool will keep a clean sheet, but I don't think they'll score 3 goals. And I think Salah will get on the score sheet again, and I think he'll continue his fine form in front of goal. And I'm wondering if, and I'm going to say it to you now, I think Salah, I know I said it on the delayed commentary that we did here on the commentary hub earlier in the week for that match against Manchester United. I think he's the best in the world at the moment, Mo Salah.
Oh, he is. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. No, I agree.
And I think Mo Salah may follow up his hat-trick last week with another hat-trick here, and Liverpool to win by 3-0 with a Mo Salah hat-trick.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
Next up then, JB, and I'll tell this one first this time. Man City against Crystal Palace. I think it'll be a good game, and I think it'll be a close one. I think Palace will take the lead, but Man City will come back, and I think it'll be a 3-1 to Man City. I don't think it'll be a foregone conclusion, as probably some people think, but I think Man City will win 3-1 against Crystal Palace at the Etihad on Saturday afternoon. JB, Man City Palace for you. How do you see that one?
I'm actually in unison with you there. I think it'll be 3-1 as well. Palace are a good side. Forget where they are in the league. Their performances this season, Russ, have been absolutely superb. I mean, they took Arsenal all the way. They've beat Tottenham. They've been unlucky. They've drawn most of their games so far this season, and they are playing some really nice football. Vieira, if he gets the chance and gets them playing. I think they could be challenging in the mid-table reaches this season. Maybe have a decent cup run in the FA Cup, maybe later on. So, but at the Etihad Stadium, it's not a fortress, and but I would say City should have enough quality to win the game. It will depend on how much luck that Palace will use up on the day, I suppose. But I agree with you. I think it will be 3-1 to Manchester City. They just do enough, but Palace will give them a game. I don't think there's any question about it.
Yes, next up is the game at St James's Park. Newcastle taking on Chelsea. And to be honest, where Chelsea are playing at the moment, I can't see any other than a Chelsea win here. And a convincing Chelsea win at that. I'm going 4-0 Chelsea. What about you, JB?
Well, I've got to agree. I don't think it'll be 4-0. I think it'll be probably more something like 3. I think they'll win by 3-0. The problem with Newcastle is the fans are in heaven because they've got these new owners. But the reality is they don't have the money. They can't spend any money at all until January, and even then, will players want to come to Newcastle? There's the point. The fans are saying, "Oh, we'll have Champions League football in 4 seasons." It doesn't work like that. I mean, when Manchester City got taken over, I think this is a point worth making. It took them about 7 or 8 years before they actually won the FA Cup. So, the Newcastle fans are going to be patient. But Chelsea are in the form of their last. Tuchel is an absolute genius at the moment. He can't, whatever he touches, it turns to gold. I'd expect Chelsea to win. Not by 4, as you said, but by 3. I'm going to say 3-0.
Okay. Next up then, JB, is a game at Vicarage Road where Watford, fantastic win against Everton last week at Goodison Park, taking on a Southampton side who are struggling, got only 1 win in the league this season against my team, Leeds United. That's their only win in the league this season. Took Chelsea to penalties in the cup in midweek, so they are playing some good football. Or Southampton. Do you think Southampton will get a win here this weekend, JB, or do you think Watford will come out on top for you?
Well, it's a tricky one to call. I mean, but I don't think Southampton are that good. I thought in patches against Burnley, I thought they were second best. That's not me being biased. That's me just observing it. Even though I'm a Burnley fan, I thought they looked very disjointed in defence. I mean, Cornet scored a couple of wonder goals. But Watford, I mean, everyone should. I mean, let's face it. I mean, nobody gave them a chance against Everton last week, and they went on a 1-5-2. And let me add, three of those goals came late on in the second half. So, Watford, I think have got a really good chance to win. I think it's going to be a very close. It's going to be one of those games where it could go one way or the other. I'm going to say Watford, because of home advantage and the fact that they've gone to Goodison Park and have won so convincingly. I actually fancy Watford to win this one. I'm going to say 2-1 to Watford.
You know something, JB?
Go on.
Great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. I'm also going for a 2-1 to Watford as well. I think Watford will win 2-1 in this one.
Yeah.
Next up, JB, is the game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at 5:30 on Saturday. Some people are naming it already the El Sacico, as both Nuno Espirito Santo and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer are under pressure and could potentially be facing the sack by Tottenham and Manchester United, respectively. Both teams are playing really well recently. I just see this one going, JB, because for me, I can only see 1 goal in this. And I'm going for a 1-0 Spurs win. I think Spurs, with them having the home advantage, will just edge Manchester United and pile even more pressure onto Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I was reading, I think it was a couple of days ago now, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been told by the Manchester United board, and has been told, and the players have been told, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got 3 games to save his Manchester United job as manager. So, and I
Well,
think this one in his first of 3, he'll lose by a goal to nil. JB, do you think in this game he'll lose, or do you think in this game he'll get the win? Tottenham United, I've just
do you
got for
know?
you.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I'm very concerned about Manchester United right now. I mean, I did the commentary on that 5-0 demolition of when Liverpool came there and won 5-0. I've never seen a Manchester United defence all over the place. Shaw and Lindelof and Maguire all over the place. In fact, the whole back four was a shambles. Poor old David De Gea didn't know what day it was. The problem with Manchester United is they've got too many attack-minded players, too many individual players. Now, Tottenham, Tottenham grounded out a result at Burnley, although Oliver Skip should have been sent off last night. But they will fancy their chances, and I think Harry Kane will think Christmas has come early because he needs a goal, and he needs one desperately. And he'll fancy his chances. Now, we'll see how easy, if Tottenham can go on the same lines as Liverpool, instead of just picking off United defenders here and forcing them into making errors, I can actually see Tottenham winning this. I'm going to say 2-0 to Tottenham because I just don't know where. I just don't see where Man United are going to get the points under Solskjaer. I'm amazed he hasn't been sacked, if I'm being perfectly frank with you, Russ, because, to lose 5-0 to one of your rivals, if you like. I know they're not City rivals, but, but these games against Liverpool, from a Man United's perspective, you'd expect to be winning. Again, is he the man for the job? I mean, if he proves us wrong, then brilliant. But I can't see them getting a diddly squat from Tottenham. I think Spurs will just nick it 2-0.
As to 1-0, JB's gone 2-0 there. Next up, JB, I'm going to let you take this one first.
Okay.
It's the first game on Sunday, 2 o'clock, Carrow Road, Norwich City yet to win.
Mm-hmm.
Leeds United, 1 win all in the league this season against Watford at Ellen Road. And we've won in the cup against Crewe as well at Ellen Road. We won on penalties against Fulham in the cup as well, but we're not really taking cup into consideration. So 1 win in the league in 9 matches so far. Norwich yet to win a game in the league this season. So, JB, Norwich Leeds, Carrow Road Sunday. Who's going to come out on top for you?
Do you know what? As much as it kills me to say, because you are a relegation rival, to be fair, I actually think Norwich are absolute shambles. I actually think Leeds can do it. I think they've got far more quality than what Norwich have. The problem with Norwich is you won't get a better chance to get your second win than this one. I'll tell you this now. Unless Norwich start playing miracles or Tim Krul starts playing, having one of those games where everything is just gonna save everything. I can't see Norwich scoring. They don't score enough goals. They got stuff 7-0. If Leeds turn up, play their A game, which they're capable of doing, and we've seen that many times last season, they turn up and play their A game, Russ, they could win this quite comfortably. I think they'll win 2-0 Leeds.
I'm going for a 4-0 Leeds win here, JB. I think we can. Rafinha's set to be back. Hopefully Bamford will be back. Yeah. Phillips is back now in the team.
You need those players as well.
Arsenal in the cup in midweek. Ayling may be back as well. Firpo could be back as well. So we may slowly gain his players back now. So I'm going for a 4-0 Leeds win here in this one. Next up, Aston Villa against West Ham United on Sunday, $4. How do you see this one going, JB?
Oh, this is a tricky one. Because I like Aston Villa, the way they've played this season. I covered them against I covered them again in the last home game against Wolves, where they should have actually wrapped the match up, and then they made some substitutions which went back to bite them on the old backside. And Wolves came in and stole 3 points, and it was a smashing grab because Weller should have won the game by more than what they did by the 2 goals. They had a good, comfortable 2-0 lead and blew it. Last week against Arsenal, they were poor. West Ham, good side, doing well again under David Moyes. They've knocked out Manchester City in the Cup. They've had another terrific win as well before that against Tottenham. Mikel Antonio is one player that I think Villa need to watch like hawks. And then you look at Danny Ings on the other. I can't separate them. I reckon it's going to end up 2 apiece. I think this is going to be a tight but thrilling game of football because I think you've got to see 2 sides that are going to go at each other. So I would be expecting a thriller at the Villa, but I think it'll be just a point each. So I'm going to say 2 apiece.
I think West Ham, where they're playing at the moment, as you mentioned, beat Man City in the Cup, beat Man United in the Cup earlier in the season as well.
Yeah, I did that game as well, yeah.
Going well in the Europa League as well. And I don't think they've conceded in the last 4, maybe 5 matches as well, West Ham United. I think that will continue. I think they'll keep another clean sheet here, West Ham. And I think West Ham will win this comfortably and convincingly. 4-0 to West Ham United for me.
Wow, I didn't think it'd be as one-sided as that, to be quite honest with you. Considering Villa, but I mean, apart from last week against Wolves, the last home game against Wolves, I think Villa have been pretty good at Villa Park. So I'm very surprised you've gone 4-0 there. I know West Ham are playing well, but 4-0?
Yes. Next up, then, JB, is a game in another game in the Midlands. It's Wolverhampton Wanderers taking on Rafa Benitez's Everton, and Rafa Benitez will have probably got the air dryer out and give his team the air dryer treatment this week in the dressing room after that defeat to Watford last week, and they'll be looking to bounce back. Wolves gave away a penalty last week in stoppage time against Leeds and drew 1-1. They were leading for quite a while in that game, but then ended up drawing 1-1 in the end. How do you see this game going, JB? Do you reckon Wolves will win at Molineux? Or do you think Everton will get a win in this one for you?
I can't call this one. The problem I've got with this game is that Wolves have started to come into a little bit of form. They won at Villa, leading, as you say, at Leeds. The penalty, by the way, was a penalty. I think we can both agree on that. The Leeds penalty that they got. Despite Bruno Lage saying that it wasn't, which it was, the penalty, it's there in black and white. Everton, I mean, I expected them to beat Watford last week. I think anybody in his right mind would have backed them there. The problem with Everton is they capitulated. They were all over the place in that last half an hour against Watford. It was just unbelievable. So this is a tough one for me. I'm going to put my head on the block here. I'm going to go 2-1 to Everton. If they get 1 or 2 in the game, players back, Charlton or whatever, and just get back to the strong jaw and as they were, and not give anything silly away, then I think they could win. They could nick it. But Wolves will make life very, very difficult. I wouldn't be amazed. I wouldn't be too surprised if we ended a draw. But I think Everton to nick it by the old goal in 3. 2-1.
I'm going to go, JB, for a draw in this one. I think there'll be goals in this one for both sides. And I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I'm going for a Desmond. I'm going for a 2-2 in this one.
You're going for a Desmond, are you? You're going for a Lynham, are you?
I think there'll be goals in this. And I'm going for a Desmond. Yeah. I'm going for a 2-2 draw in this one, JB. For me, I think there'll be goals in it, I'm going for a 2-2 draw for me.
Okay.
But before we get the predictions up on the screen for what we've gone for, just a quick chat, JB,
We have to come to
on
it, don't
Burnley's
we?
form on Burnley's, we do them a favour. Burnley's form this season. Why has it gone? Why is it going so wrong for Burnley Football Club so far this season? And a question for you, JB, as well. A question which I think you know is going to be coming.
Come on, what's the burning question?
is regarding Sean Dyche.
Yes.
Are you Dyche in or Dyche out right now?
Ooh.
And why? But first off, why has it gone wrong so far for Burnley Football Club this season, JB?
Well, there's 101 things that could have happened. I mean, first of all, I think I've had to look at the bigger picture. Now, people can blame the manager and blame this and blame that. But the thing is, Russ, I think the underinvestment from the previous board, Mike Garlick in particular, not replacing players. And you remember, you've got to, Barnes is getting on in years, Wood is getting on in years, Gudmundsson has just turned 31 this week. People like that, Jack Cork isn't as effective and as consistent as he used to be. So, and then of course, there's this, what we used to call the strong jaw, the back four, Taylor, me, Tarkowski and Lawton, the back four. And they're not as effective as they used to be. Although Nathan Collins has slotted in when Ben Mee's been out and has actually played some really good football. He's done really well defensively. I do believe that the squad is aged a lot. The problem, also the tactics as well. The tactics are a bit predictable now. One's got to say it, because we always play a 4-4-2. We don't mix it up enough, or we don't try and, like for example, I'll try and show an example of how we should have done in one of the games. When we went to go ahead against Everton, we should have changed it, put a couple of subs on, gone to 5 in midfield, and made it difficult for Everton to break through. We didn't do that. We were too open. We still went gun-ho forward, and we left gaps at the back, and that allowed Everton to score those quick-fire goals. The second one you can't legislate for. It's a terrific finish from Townsend. But, it's little things like that, little tactical tweaks as well. But I have to say, I think Dyche has been too loyal with certain players, like your Barneses, your Corks, and people like that. But there are positives as well. I'm going to touch on some positives as well. Maxwell Cornet's come in. I've got to tell you, Maxwell Cornet is one of the best players we've had for quite some time in terms of overall ability and how class he is. He's world class. On his day, he's world class, as he proved against Leicester and he proved against Southampton. I don't understand why Dash took him off at 2-2 when the game was there to be won. I will never know that. But so there are positives there. Nathan Collins has slotted in and he's done really well. The other night, Roberts played against Spurs, did really well as well, even in defeat. He defended really well at right back. So there's genuine competition there for Lowton. But there has been, I honestly think the blame, and this might help in the answer in the next question, of course, is am I a Dyche in or a Dyche out? I actually think, looking at it logically, and I've been looking at it logically for the last 24 hours or so, I think it's been an underinvestment. I think it's been a lack of investment from the previous chairman, not Alan Pace. It's not his fault. But I think the previous chairman, Mr. Mike Garlick, who I've said on videos, is a tight-fisted Scrooge, and I've said stronger words to that effect, because I've really gone to town on him on previous videos. You can check back on JB Sports if you don't believe me, folks. I think it's been underinvestment from Mr. Garlick over the last 2 or 3 years, because the squad, when you look at it, it's been practically the same. But, hopefully, if we can put some of the new faces in, Maxwell Cornet, who's certainly hit the ground running, He's probably our only hope, maybe scoring goals. Chris Ward, I expected him to be off the mark. He's had one goal. He's scored one goal. I expected him. He's had chances to take a few others. He hasn't done. Is it bad luck? I mean, also you can't really put it just down to Sean Dyche or the previous board either. Just that we've had some very tough refereeing decisions go against us, and some pretty naff ones to go against us. To be fair, but and again, I'm not mincing my words. I mean, the Norwich one where we should have won, we should have had 3 penalties. If we get those penalties, would we be talking now about Burnley's form? Probably not. That would have given us that leg up in terms of getting 3 points on the board, and that would have given us confidence. As it happened, Norwich got away with blue murder and ended up drawing 0-0. But I think now we've got the players, the attitude of the players as well. I think some of them put in very, very powder puff performances. I'm not going to start figuring out. I mean, Tarkowski had his head turned. Obviously, he wants to leave. He obviously wants to go to somewhere like Leicester or Newcastle. It seems that way. He wants to move on. Fair enough, but you earn your move. You don't. That second Southampton goal last week, it was just basics. He gave the ball away so softly, and it allowed Southampton a chance on goal, which they took. And even then, when he tried to block it, it was so half-hearted. It was unbelievable. Now, going on to your burning question about whether I'm a Dyche in and Dyche out, I think you've got to say he's there to stay. He's just signed a 4-year contract, Russ. And I don't think Alan Pace will want to dispense with his services right now. The Burnley's a weird one, with some people, because, if it had been any other football club, the manager had been out the door. But when you think about it, I want to just take you back 9 years. Now, what I'm going to talk about, Russ, because you saw it on Facebook yesterday. I wrote a Facebook status 9 years ago when we got rid of Eddie Howe, right? And I said, and I don't know why I said it at the time, maybe because I was just frustrated that we'd lost 4-0 to Cardiff that particular afternoon in 2012. But I said, under no circumstances would you appoint Sean Dyche. They went against my advice, and as it turned out, I was wrong, because what he's achieved is unbelievable. I'll just reel off the list of achievements that he's done. First win over Blackburn Rovers since 1979. Promotion to the Premier League with the third lowest budget in the Championship at that time. We was up behind Leicester. We got relegated the next year, but we came up the next year. We won the Championship title, 23 undefeated. Then we survived the first season, beat some big teams along the way. That win at Palace was the watershed moment, because that kept us up. And then the next year we finished in our highest league position probably since 1975. We played European football. We had those massive games against Aberdeen, Istanbul, Başakşehir, and Olympiacos, albeit qualifiers, but it was still European football for me. And I went to the Aberdeen game. What an atmosphere that was! And he's kept us in the league 6 years in a row. There has been some bumps. The FA Cup defeat to Lincoln, and silly cup defeats to the likes of Port Vale, Accrington Stanley, and non-league Lincoln. I've blotted his copybooks or what, but he has broken good records. But the concerning factor for me that the turf is not the fortress it wants to be. I still believe that we can win games at Turf Moor. We need to believe in ourselves, I think, a bit more. And I think that's got to come from the manager and the attitude of the players. If we can marry the two together, I can't see no reason why we can't get out of it. We've been in this position before. We were 12 months ago. The trouble is that Watford have won and Brentford have been winning games. So, that therein lies a little bit of a problem. But if we can keep Cornet injury free, then we've got every chance.
Yes, absolutely, JB. And so that's just what I wanted to ask you there on Burnley. Just before we do leave you now, let's just take a look, JB, at our predictions, which we can see on the screen, right just there in front of us there. So 3-1 for Leicester for me. 2-2 for JB. 2-1 Brentford for me, JB, with a 2-0 to his beloved Clarets.
Naturally.
3-0 Liverpool for me, JB 3-1. Me and JB both on the same hymn sheet as Man City. As we both say, Man City will beat Crystal Palace by 3-1. I'm going for a 4-0 Chelsea win over Newcastle. JB going for a 3-0 Chelsea win. Both going for a 2-1 to Watford over Southampton. I'm going for a 1-0 Spurs against Man United. JB going for a 2-0 win for Tottenham. I'm going for a 4-0 win for my beloved Leeds United. You wouldn't expect anything less from me. JB is going for a 2-0 Leeds United win. Aston Villa 0, West Ham 4 for me. JB going for a 2-0 draw. Myself going for a 2-0 draw for Wolves against Everton. And JB going for an Everton win by 2-1 over the Molineux outfit. So there is the predictions done and dusted for this week. Thank you very much to JB for coming on once again, and thank you very much for everyone listening to this and watching this back. If you are watching this or watching it when it goes out or watching it back on the replay ahead of your weekend's fixtures on your way to the matches, hopefully, just want to point out, a friend of ours, JB Newcaton, hopefully you had a good game, a good time at Man United versus Liverpool last week, and hopefully the result wasn't too bad for you with him being a Manchester United fan. So hopefully you're doing okay, Newcaton, and hopefully you've got over that mauling by Liverpool last week. And Ole Solskjaer, 3 games to do his job. Come on, Tottenham. Let's put one of the final nails in Ole's coffin. That's me, as a Leeds fan, saying that. But no one likes to see a manager fail at a club. But as a Leeds fan, up Tottenham win, up Atlanta win, up Man City win, but up Man United give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, after those defeats, a new 10-year contract. Ole's at the wheel, guys. From all of the team here, thank you very much for listening. And we'll see you again soon. Take care. Goodbye for now.